Hello, everybody. The name of the show is Appeal to Reason, and you can find it on YouTube and on Rumble. So, the Democrat Party is having a rough week this week, definitely the worst week they've had since the election. They are seemingly in shambles from what anyone can tell. You've got the old guard, the folks that basically seem like they belong in nursing homes at this point, and then they're fighting for power, with the radical Marxists of the party, and then you've got the mentally ill perverts on the other side trying to all, fight for power within the party. And it's not going well for them. They were handed this decisive defeat back in November from the American people who showed them that, the country just these policies that the Democrats are presenting to the American public are not palatable to most of the country. So instead of taking a long look in the mirror to, be like, okay, this is not what people are voting for right now. This is not what most of the country wants. Let's, shift and maybe moderate. They are not doing that. So they're just taking every chance they can get to scream at Republicans and light their hair on fire over these policies that Donald Trump and the Republicans are putting into effect. These policies are what the American people voted for. So they're just doing what the will of the people right now. This is exactly what we voted for. The week started out with the DNC's leadership elections, which showcased for the entire world to see just how incompetent and disorganized the party is right now. They couldn't even figure out their own DEI insane rules for the election to pick their own, party leadership. Let's go ahead and take a look so that you can see for yourself what I'm talking about here.
As you know, our three at-large vice chair positions are used to ensure gender balance among 7 offices: treasurer, secretary, national finance chair, and vice chair for civic engagement and voter participation, and the 3 at-large vice chairs. Our rules specify that when we have a gender non-binary candidate or officer, the non-binary individual is counted as neither male nor female, and the remaining 6 offices must be gender balanced. With the results of the previous 4 elections, our elected officers are currently 2 male and 2 female. In order to be gender balanced, we must elect 1 male, 1 female, and 1 person of any gender. So again, this is what we have to do for this vice chair race. We have to elect 1 male, 1 female, and 1 person of any gender.
This just makes my head hurt. So they've overcomplicated something that should not be that complicated. It should just be a merit-based system, the most articulate, the most well-spoken, the people that present themselves the best. We can just vote for whoever we want to. Let democracy work. I thought this whole election was, the end of democracy if Kamala Harris didn't win. But the Democrats, that their entire party is named after democracy, they really don't seem to understand that concept very well, considering Kamala Harris, who they ran for president, she didn't get a single primary vote. And they had a bunch of billionaires and people in the power structure of the country basically kick Joe Biden to the curb when inevitably his senility exposed itself on the debate stage. And so they threw Kamala Harris up there, who was a DEI pick to begin with. So they had no one on the bench to step in and take over for Joe Biden when inevitably his senility presented itself, because he picked Kamala Harris as a vice president as a DEI pick, because he said himself openly in public, he said, my vice president is going to be a woman, and it's got to be a woman of color. It's like, okay, pal, so you just eliminated 93% of the population right there. It's got to be one of this 7% of individuals. Another thing that's giving Democrats a horrible week is they are completely incensed by Elon Musk going around DC and exposing all this government corruption, waste, fraud, and abuse at these agencies. And he's using his group of computer engineering wizards to expose all of this. And you got to ask yourself, if you're upset by someone exposing government waste and abuse and wasted tax dollars, maybe you're part of the problem. And they're really only upset because, they're saying, oh, Elon, no one voted for him. It's like, well, he's just an advisor to the president. He's giving the president advice and he's giving the president information. They're only upset by this because he's not one of these, Washington insiders that stays as part of an advisor to the president from one administration to the next. These guys that have been in DC their entire careers, have been there for like 30, 40, 50 years. That's why they're upset by this. And, if they say, oh, no one voted for Elon, be like, okay, well, who voted for Kamala Harris in the primary? Nobody. It was just billionaires who made that decision, and the party elites, Nancy Pelosi and Barack Obama, that made that decision. So I don't want to hear it from you about Elon Musk. A huge controversy that was exposed by Elon Musk and Doge this week is that Politico and the New York Times, many other media organizations, have been being funded by USAID. So taxpayer dollars are going, I think $8 million went to Politico over a 9-year period. And on its face, that just stinks to high heaven. It looks like money laundering or rewarding a media organization for favorable coverage of Democrats and unfavorable coverage of Republicans. Could you imagine a Republican organization, like the Daily Wire or something, getting millions of dollars from the government? That would just be absolutely insane and no one would tolerate that. And Caroline Lovett, she went out and spoke to reporters and she exposed just a couple of the many areas of waste and abuse by the government. Let's take a look at what she had to say.
And here's the reason why Elon Musk and others have been taking a look. Because if you look at the waste and abuse that has run through USAID over the past several years, these are some of the insane priorities that organization has been spending money on. $1.5 million to advance DEI in Serbia's workplaces, $70,000 for a production of a DEI musical in Ireland, $47,000 for a transgender opera in Colombia, $32,000 for a transgender comic book in Peru. I don't know about you, but as an American taxpayer, I don't want my dollars going towards this crap, and I know the American people don't either, and that's exactly what Elon Musk has been tasked by President Trump to do.
So if this doesn't bring your piss to a boil, I don't know what will. These people are sending our taxpayer dollars to these countries that hate us to promote these perverse ideas and ideologies that most of us don't agree with, and they push it on, mentally ill people and easily impressionable children who are confused about, making any kind of life decisions. They certainly aren't old enough to be making these kinds of decisions. And, we work as American citizens, as taxpayers, we toil and we burden ourselves for, months out of the year just to pay our yearly tax burden year after year. And it's disgusting. And I'm glad that someone is finally exposing this. I feel like everyone has known that on the surface that this was going on, but we, had no proof of it. And now someone's actually exposing it, which is fantastic for us, I think. If you like this video, please give me a like, subscribe to my channel, and share this video with your friends.